We're at Cadillac Ranch, and it really is just Cadillacs in a field. And we're gonna go paint something fun, unique.
Awesome. This one's mine.
Apparently orange and blue is what we're gonna use. Let's go find Cadillacs. Weather do you not want to come here in?
After the rain. It's like 5 pounds on my foot.
It's really wet. Most of the cars are in their own little lake.
I asked my mom when we were coming, and I was like, why is there a lake around it? Yeah, should come here after the rain.
Yeah. It's amazing how much paint is on these things. It's just built up. Alright, so we just got done painting Cadillacs. Honestly, it wasn't as exciting as I thought it might be.
That's because he's lame. I actually think it's really cool seeing some of these iconic things I've seen pictures of like my whole life.
But you imagine being able to walk up to any car you want in any spot you want, but they were all, it was so muddy in there that literally we could get to just 2 cars.
It snowed a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, that was definitely snow on the ground. And we can only get to 2 cars, and of course everybody's painting those cars right now, so anything you do paint on those 2 cars will be gone probably by the weekend, because more people will come in and paint.
I painted like 6 things, all of the same things, so I don't think all of them will disappear so quickly. Hopefully not.
I climbed up on top of a car. Spray painted up there.
Yeah, yours will last a little bit longer. But at least we got to see Cadillac Ranch and paint some cars. So why not? When in Rome, right?
Race hooligans?
Yes.
Hey, so Sedona and I came to visit the Don Harrington Discovery Center. We had a couple hours after our school day on a Friday, and Harley wasn't feeling that well, so we left him at home and came to play at the center. We haven't gone in yet, but we'll show you some stuff about that. But outside is the helium time columns, which was erected in 1968 to commemorate the 100th year anniversary of the discovery of helium. But the cool thing about this is that inside each of those columns is stuff from 1968. It's a time capsule here in Amarillo, Texas. So each of those columns has stuff from 1968 talking about helium and the importance of our natural resources. So it is really quite a beautiful structure.
It's huge.
It's huge.
There's a lot of stuff from 1968.
Which is like forever ago, isn't it? Forever. It was even before I was born. It turns out on September 29th of this year, in 2018, they opened it and let people see what was inside. And now, again, I'm bummed that we missed something, but I guess you can't be everywhere. The really cool thing about this center that we're going to go into is it's part of our museum card that we have from the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. So if you don't have a card from your local museum, this actually gets us into this center for free. I think this is like the 3rd place we've been with using this as a benefit. So we're pretty excited about that. I'm going to be looking into some art ones maybe as we keep rolling. All right, let's go.
I like art.
our first camp trip in our 19... So we're on our first camping trip in our 1941 Westcraft trailer. We just bought this brand new a few weeks ago. It's a beauty, I would say. Isn't it lovely? I mean, the pointed plywood on the sides, and I mean, look at the detail of the lamps.
You know, we've already been to 17 places. Which one was your favorite? I think Maine was our favorite. It got a little chilly here in this RV, but it was nice.
And our 1941 Westcraft trailer was a little chilly up in Maine, don't you think? I think maybe it could use a little more insulation. So maybe for the 1942 model, they could up the R value. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
So let's take you on a tour. You have vent windows, you know, in case
Here's your
you get too warm.
lunchbox.
Yes, you can have a picnic.
Lunchbox.
A picnic. This is your galley.
That's only for boats.
It's still a galley.
Ow.
And
can't go
here
any
is
farther.
your magnificent, huge oven that's crooked.
That's actually bigger than ours, I think.
No, it's not.
And these are your sleeping quarters. Luxury accommodations. Well, hello.
I've got a never-ending love for you. From now on, that's all I wanna do. From the first time we met, I knew.
Where are you heading? Where are you from?
Never-ending song of love for you. My love for you.
We're going to Alaska
Yeah.
In this thing?
in this thing.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna freeze.
Look, dude,
Right
look,
now.
it's about that wide.
Good luck.
We all need it.
Did you see this was the first one ever built? Serial number 1?
It's that brand.
Itasca, yeah.
I've never heard of that. So I
It's
guess
Chevy.
I'm
I think they
going-
became Winnebago.
It's
Oh,
Chevy.
it was like the first one. Well, they do have Winnebago stuff in the past.
She got a nice cabinet.
Bigger shallower than we do. That's a tiny sink. So we're trying to figure out if this is like an antique display.
Cause he just ate one.
I'm not sure if what I put in my mouth was from 1948 or 2018.
They don't make gumballs anymore.
Well, considering your tongue is now yellow.
Ew!
We'll have to ask at the front desk if I'm
Oh
gonna
my
die.
God! It's even stamped forward. You should not eat that. There's no way.
Show him what's in your hand.
So, just in case it was from 1948, I went ahead and got it out of my body.
It's all so
We're
rough.
going to ask the people
It
at the
says-
front desk. I went like this, made a noise, and a gumball popped out. It says insert a penny.
Insert
I didn't
penny.
insert one.
I haven't been alive since there was penny
Well, who
machines.
doesn't eat a gumball when somebody gives them a gumball?
Would you
No, I'm
like
not
an
drinking
old
that. The gumball machine. Ford display. Those old gumballs from 1948. They are.
How old?
That I don't know. Jack, hey Jack, let me ask him, he'll know.
All right.
Hey Jack, I'll make sure, but I'm pretty sure they are.
Kind of ate one.
You did?
Yeah, I thought it was a real
We're
gumball
just
machine.
curious
Because
how.
she actually at one popped out.
You
for her.
kind of got about an hour to live. You got about an hour to live, man, if you don't get to the hospital. He's worried about something.
All right.
The gumballs in the gumball machine back there, the Ford display, are those from 1948?
It tastes like it.
They do. Because I accidentally ate one.
I told you, I said you got about an hour before you got to go to the hospital.
I mean, I purposely ate it, but I thought they were recent. She brings it over to me because one popped out of there. I was like, oh, I'll eat
It
that.
starts out with heartburn.
Yeah.
That's a major headache.
Now, should I ask how you know?
Yes.
He's seen it. He's seen
I'm the result of what happens afterwards. That's not good.
That's what I can see it. I'm already starting.
Really white.
Yeah, that's a.
They're not
my shirt
You
looks
see?
like that?
Yes, like
They're
twins.
not the freshest thing about it.
They're not that old. Okay.
Okay.
Texas has been great all week. 60s, beautiful, sunny, no bad weather. And then it started getting windy a little bit yesterday, and the trailer was rocking like crazy last night. And now it's Saturday, and we went out and did some sightseeing around town. The weather turned south, it started getting colder. I left my hose hooked up, assuming we'd be back in time to go ahead and unhook the hose before everything froze. Well, we got back here about 6 p.m. and even though it had just recently dropped to below freezing right before we got back, I think the wind chill out here got much worse than what we thought. So we came back to frozen hoses. So my filter was frozen, my pressure regulator was frozen, it was all frozen onto the spigot. And the problem is, even the spigot is frozen open. So you can see here, hopefully, that the spigot is open and we can't get it closed. So we have to leave in the morning, which means once this thaws out, it's just going to start running. Now most RV parks will have wires, heated wire around the pipe to keep this from freezing, but these guys don't. I don't know if they don't get this kind of weather typically or what, but yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I got my frozen hose and my frozen filter and my frozen pressure regulator off, and luckily none of them are damaged, and they're in thawing out inside the rig, but this is frozen open, and I'm gonna have to let them know in the morning that that's the case because we're gonna leave and this can't be closed. So anyway, little tip, if you even think it's going to be cold enough to freeze any of the pipes that your fresh water is connected to, go ahead and get them disconnected. The problem I have now is that because that's frozen, I can't fill my water tank. So my water gauge says empty, so I have no idea how much water is in my fresh water tank. So we got to go through the night with that, not being able to flush potentially in the middle of the night or make coffee in the morning. So that's a bummer. So anyway, tip, if you think it's going to get even close enough to freezing, you go ahead and disconnect all of that stuff.
Oh, you have to go to this first? No. Hit the second button. Oh. You have to go there and read the sign. That's so nice. Now hit the bottom button. Firefighters earlier rescued a woman and 2 children from a burning house before flames engulfed the building. The 3 casualties were suffering from smoke inhalation and have been taken by ambulance to the hospital. Why are you eating chips? Don't hide. Don't steal other little kids' chips.